Hello and welcome to TVB News. Cathay Pacific has identified 15 aircraft with engine parts that require replacement after an Airbus A350 flight had engine part failures on Monday. A total of 68 Cathay flights have been affected, including 10 pairs of flights tomorrow. Jackie Lin reports.
Multiple flight cancellations from Cathay Pacific Airways, including some Tokyo and Osaka-bound flights. Cathay Pacific said 24 pairs of flights were cancelled today as expected. This affected passenger said the airline did not notify her about the flight cancellation and she only saw that on the website. Another traveler said the last-minute change was unacceptable and no one from Cathay took his calls the entire night last night. Now he had to buy tickets from another airline. On Monday, Cathay identified an engine component failure on flight CX-383 from Hong Kong to Zurich. Cathay later found similar issues on other A350 aircraft, which the carrier said the engine problem has not been detected elsewhere in the world before. Cathay said it inspected all its 48 A350s in one day. 15 planes have to change engine parts. 3 have been repaired. It's understood the problem involved the engine's fuel nozzle. But all A350 planes are expected to be operational again on Saturday. An additional 10 pairs of short-haul flights will be cancelled Wednesday. That means the total number of effective flights will go up to 68. Flight schedules between Thursday and Saturday will be announced by 2 p.m. tomorrow. Cathay apologized for the case and stressed that safety is their top priority. Some passengers find it reasonable to suspend the entire fleet of A350s for safety's sake. Cathay has alerted a civil aviation department and aircraft manufacturer and engine maker over the case. Hong Kong Express and Hong Kong Airlines said they don't have A350 planes in their fleets. The Civil Aviation Department said it would continue to maintain close contact with Cathay to ensure aviation safety. Jackie Lin, TVB News.
Police investigations are continuing into last night's fatal car crash on the Shenzhen Bay Bridge. A male staff member of the Customs and Excise Department died after he was suspected to have lost control of his vehicle, which rammed into a roadside before bouncing over the barriers and falling into the water. Rescuers found him 3 hours later, but the customs officer was confirmed dead at hospital. Timothy Lee tells us more.
The damaged vehicle was retrieved from the sea at around noon today. 2 of the car's tires were missing. The front of the vehicle also suffered extensive damage, with the rest of the body heavily deformed. Sources said the water at the crash site was only 2.5 meters deep, so authorities decided to wait for the high tide before the salvage vessel could approach to retrieve the wreckage. Police received reports from motorists at around 9 o'clock last night about a white private car crashing to bridge barriers on Shenzhen Bay Bridge before plunging into the sea. Car components as well as pieces of tires could be seen strewn across the bridge after the accident, while a road sign was damaged. A doll was also seen lying nearby. Police and fire services vessels quickly arrived on the scene to carry out search and rescue operations. Fire services personnel said divers entered through the sunroof of the vehicle to rescue the injured at around midnight. They noted the task was challenging primarily because of low underwater visibility and general darkness in the area. Police said the road surface of the bridge was dry at the time, adding that the speed limit for that section of the roadway is 100 kilometers per hour. Officers found 2 stretches of tire marks in the fast lane, as well as the damaged road sign. Crash marks were also seen on the bridge barriers. The victim was a 46-year-old Customs and Excise Department officer. Fire services personnel said he was not breathing when he was pulled out of the wreckage. His death was confirmed after his arrival at Tin Shui Wai Hospital. Commissioner of Customs and Excise Louise Ho visited the hospital to inquire further about the situation. She said the deceased officer, who was responsible for cargo clearance work, regularly drove his own car to work. The Customs and Excise chief noted the entire department was aggrieved by the loss and expressed her condolences to the man's family. Meanwhile, some engineers said the vehicle was unlikely to have crashed through the bridge barriers in the accident.
同埋差唔多4尺高嘅防撞欄嘅話咧
Ringo Lee, honorary life president of the Hong Kong-China Automobile Association, noted that the car could have fallen into the sea after bouncing off an item placed on the shoulder of the roadway, such as an information display panel. Timothy Lee, TVB News.
The standby signal number 1 is now in force as Yagi intensifies into a severe tropical storm and edges closer to the region. Yagi is expected to move northwest across the northern part of the South China Sea at 10 kilometers per hour. The observatory said the storm is gradually moving towards the western part of Guangdong and Hainan Island, and the chance of issuing the number 3 strong wind signal is high. The weather along the coast of Guangdong is set to deteriorate in the latter part of this week. Macau, meanwhile, issued the typhoon signal number 1 at noon. The alert is expected to stay throughout the day. The enclave's meteorological bureau predicts that it's likely the number 3 signal will be issued between tomorrow night and early Thursday. Welcome back. Pope Francis landed in the Indonesian capital Jakarta today, kicking off his 12-day trip to the Asia-Pacific region. He will meet with Indonesian President Joko Widodo, as well as representatives from other regions during his state visit. Danny Zhou reports.
After an overnight flight from Rome, the pontiff disembarked from his plane in a wheelchair this morning. Local officials and representatives from the Vatican greeted him with a welcoming ceremony on the tarmac. The 87-year-old Pope has been battling respiratory and mobility problems over the years, but he has appeared in good spirits recently. Escorted by motorcade, he arrived at Jakarta's nunciature, the base of the church's diplomatic mission where he will be staying during his Indonesia trip. It is the third papal visit to this Muslim-majority nation after Pope Paul VI in 1970 and Pope John Paul II in 1989. Although Francis planned to rest for the remainder of the day, it was reported that he met with a group of refugees, migrants and sick people. Tomorrow, he is slated to meet Indonesian President Joko Widodo, who has hailed Indonesia and the Vatican's shared commitment to fostering peace and brotherhood in a broadcasted statement. With Jakarta being among the most air-polluted cities in Indonesia, many locals hope the Pope can raise the issue during his state visit, as he has made environmental protection a hallmark of his pontificate. The highlight of the trip will be on Thursday. Representatives of the country's 6 officially recognized religions, including Islam, Buddhism and Catholicism, will hold an interfaith meeting with the Pope in the Istiqlal Mosque. This iconic mosque stands as a testament to Indonesia's independence. It was designed by a Christian architect in 1954, making it the perfect embodiment of religious diversity and harmony. Thousands of worshippers are expected to throng to a grand mass led by Pope Francis, which will take place on Thursday afternoon. Authorities have urged people to work from home on the day, considering the potential roadblocks and crowds. Indonesia is the first leg of the Pope's apostolic journey. He will also travel to Papua New Guinea, Timor-Leste and Singapore. Danny Zhou, TVB News.
Following the internal conflict of the University of Hong Kong's Governing Council, the body held a meeting with a government task force today. Hong Kong U Council members Abraham Sheck and Jimmy Ng arrived at the university campus in the afternoon to attend a special meeting of the council. At the end of May, the council passed a decision increasing the number of the university's vice presidents from 4 to 9. However, Hong Kong U President Zhang Xiang said he was not informed about this. The council also alleged that Zhang had a number of governance failures. They include leaving a number of vice president positions vacant for a long time. In June, the government set up a team to look into the situation and make suggestions on how to address the shortcomings. The SAR government held a ceremony this morning to commemorate the Victory Day of the Chinese People's War of Resistance against Japanese aggression. This as the Hong Kong Museum of the War of Resistance and Coastal Defense was opened today. The solemn event took place at the City Hall Memorial Garden. Police officers performed a rifle volley as an act of tribute to those who sacrificed their lives to protect their homeland. Participants of the ceremony observed 2 minutes of silence. Chief Executive John Lee was seen laying a wreath and led representatives from various sectors in a bow of respect. Meanwhile, visitors to the newly opened Hong Kong Museum of the War of Resistance and Coastal Defense could see relics of both Japanese occupiers and the East River Column anti-Japanese guerrillas. Such items will be put on display until July next year. The Hong Kong Talent Engage and the Agency for Volunteer Service rolled out the Talents Volunteer Program with an aim to foster exchanges between new immigrants and locals. Jackie Lin was at the launch of the scheme.
Hong Kong has drawn more than 130,000 skilled immigrants via various talent schemes in recent years. To strengthen the newcomers' connection with the community, Hong Kong Talent Engage launched a Talents Volunteer program today. They are expected to help out in not just mega events, which include the Hong Kong Cyclothon and Marathon, but also delivering Chinese lessons and using their respective expertise, such as finance experience, to help small business owners.
The goal is really to benefit not only the community, but to themselves in terms of building the network, acquiring the Cantonese language, etc., etc.
Best way to get them into our society is to have them as a part of Hong Kong, to work together towards a more noble aim.
Raymond Zhao chairs the Gang Piao Chuan Culture Communications. He said Hong Kong's volunteer culture is more mature compared with the mainland, and new arrivals can make new friends and understand Hong Kong's values even more through taking part in non-profits such as Christian Action.
New arrivals to Hong Kong, ethnic minorities, grassroots families, we not only meet basic living needs, but also promote communication and understanding among individuals from different cultural backgrounds.
When asked if there are any key performance indicators to measure the effectiveness of the scheme in terms of helping both the volunteers and the beneficiaries, Hong Kong Talent Engage said they will do so step by step because it's just the beginning of the program. Jackie Lin, TVB News.
That's the news. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.